hope that they heed to that call. 29th of May. Yes, is the D-Day.
Is the D-Day.
It's the D-Day. And then we get to see a whole different face of the African Development Bank if they pick you as the president, because then for the first time we're having a female president. Then we'll be having a female president, a beautiful thing they say. One person says that, you know, empower a woman, make sure that you put them out there and you can be guaranteed of a better Africa. And I hope that the people of Africa get to understand that. I know women would not be happy if I come out of this set without questioning you on your plans for inclusivity, especially gender equality, women's empowerment, you know, so that we ensure this remains central at the AfDB's agenda. And equally now, speaking about the vulnerable, who are the youth?
Exactly. So, I mean, I think Kofi Annan put it very well, you know, a long time ago when he said that, you know, Africa's development will not be complete without, you know, including women. Right. And a bird cannot fly with one wing. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, for me, it's inconceivable that we can achieve the Africa we want if we leave half the population of the continent behind. Right. So this is, you know, as a woman, I see my role, for instance, in encouraging young girls and encouraging other women to go for it, you know, to not be afraid, to have the courage to take up their place, but also to understand that actually we are stronger together. Right. So really hoping that men also understand that it's as much their interest to ensure that women succeed, you know, than it is just a woman's work. It's very, very important for me to convey this. And of course, at the African Development Bank, that would mean that making sure that the workforce of the bank reflects that of the African continent. You know, you can't have just men, you know, everywhere. You've got to have women as well, because women will approach problems differently and they'll understand issues differently. Secondly, I think that there are specific challenges that women face. Among them, for instance, access to financing, which tends to be, you know, unfair. You know, women have, you know, a worse risk rating than men. In a similar way that Africa complains that, you know, its risk is often rated worse than other regions, even though the reality is that actually we have a very good risk profile. And this risk rating is not fair. It's the same thing with women. We've got to make sure that women have access to financing, especially entrepreneurs, to make sure that they can grow their businesses, because if you empower a woman, you empower a nation. From where I come from, this is what we believe. You empower a woman, you empower a nation. And I think this is true of the continent as well. You empower women of the continent, you empower the whole continent. Right. And then in terms of the youth, if you think about the role of those women, if they're empowered, for instance, you know, they have the capacity to raise youth, you know, that can take this continent to a higher level. That's our future. When you and I are too old to work, those are the people we'll be relying on to make sure that, you know, we live in a reasonable space. So we have to commit. We have to commit. And again, it brings me back to that infrastructure, okay? We will not be able to build schools and build hospitals all over the continent quickly enough to be able to address all of the youth of Africa. However, if we take advantage of digital infrastructure, we can leapfrog some of these technologies to make sure that, in fact, we deliver solutions to young people to prepare them for the future.
Okay, yeah. Beautiful. And so as you speak to the African nations and perhaps the stakeholders, what would be your message as to your candidacy as well as your vision for the continent's future? And I know you have mentioned, you know, as we continue with the interview, but it's critical that we get the final elements to it, you know, like an elevator pitch.
Exactly. My elevator pitch, in fact, is Lift Africa. So it's L small I F T. Okay?
L small I F T.
Large regional transformational infrastructure. That's the L. Okay. The F, financial innovation and private sector development. And the T is a transformed AfDB that is agile, efficient, and effective. Right. That is my elevator pitch. This is what I'm bringing to the table. And I have the credibility, I believe, and I have the track record to be able to say that I can deliver on this vision. And I believe that of all the candidates, I am probably the only one which can claim to be ready to go on day one.
It was like you read my mind, because I wanted to ask you, what do you think sets you apart from the other candidates? All right, if I'm not going to ask that, then I'm going to ask this.